The Chicago Blackhawks beat the LA Kings 2-1 in regulation in what was kind of an exciting game, which isn't normally what you say about an LA Kings game, but it was actually quite an exciting game. There's a lot to get into with this one, but the most important thing is the Hawks got 2 points in regulation and improve to 12-9-6 and take the first wild card spot. Blackhawks move to 12-9-6 on the year. They take the first wild card spot, defeating the Kings in the first of two matchups in 3 days. So the Hawks are still in LA. They play again in a couple days. That should be got a little chippy there at the end, especially with that the questionable Colton Dock hit at the end of the game there, near the end of the game, late in the third. Um, yeah, it was a great game. Drew Doughty was back from injury on the Kings side. He hasn't played in a while, so it was his first game back. I thought he was okay. I mean, he wasn't crazy noticeable in the game, which is good. You know, as a Hawks fan, that's not what you don't want him to be that noticeable. So, but yeah, I thought it was good as a Canadian, and he'll probably be on the Olympic team. It was good to see him back on the ice. But yeah, let's get into the game. First period, I thought the Blackhawks were generating a lot of good chances early in the game. They were really testing Kuemper, and credit to him, he stood the test. Um, not only do I think the Hawks were pressing well and they came out good in the first, but also I think it was partially LA. They were turning the puck over a lot in their own zone, particularly near their own blue line on the breakout, kind of maybe early in the neutral zone. They were turning the puck over quite a bit. They weren't completing passes. A lot of interceptions for the Hawks, and I thought that helped generate some chances. So I thought the Hawks looked really good. I thought both goaltenders looked really good in the first period too. Knight had a really nice save on Deneau late in the first. Bedard and Burakovsky had an in tight 2-on-1 in the first period, and it was a really nice save from Kuemper on Burakovsky. But yeah, overall, I thought the Hawks looked, I mean, it was pretty even first period. I'd give the slight edge to the Hawks. I mean, the shots were 13-12 for Chicago, and um, the scoring chances were 9-9, so it was pretty even first period. Like I said, I thought the Hawks controlled early, but it kind of evened out as the period went on. Um, a few penalties. I thought the Hawks kind of struggled to stay disciplined in this game. They ended up taking five penalties. They killed all five, so credit to the penalty kill on that. But I thought they were a little undisciplined, especially in that first period where they took two penalties, I believe. Yeah, they took two penalties in that first period. Third period they cleaned it up a little bit, but um, yeah, they got one. They got a penalty late in the first, and so they started the second period shorthanded. They killed it off. Alex Vlasic had a bit of a rush shorthanded there in the second period. I thought he was all over it tonight. Alex Vlasic had a really good game on the offensive side of the puck. He was rushing it. He was pinching when it was smart to do so. He was carrying the puck. He was getting involved deep in the zone below LA's goal line. He was kind of all over it tonight. It felt like he wanted to score, which isn't Vlasic's game, but it was good to see that from him. And we saw a lot of that last year, especially before Levchinov and Renzel got here, when Vlasic was kind of one of the guys on the back end that you relied on for offense besides Seth Jones. We saw that a bit from him last year, and I was kind of hoping he would build on that this year, even though the offensive side of the game isn't necessarily his side of it. But it was good to see him get some chances tonight. I thought he looked great. He also looked great on the defensive side of the puck for the most part. But it was really nice to see him try to generate some offense and skate the puck. I mean, he's a really big guy with a big reach, so when he carries it down the half wall, he can usually get by that winger pretty easily and create some sort of scoring chance. And he did that tonight, and I thought he looked really good. Um, Hawks get a power play. Edmondson gets called for tripping, and it only took the Hawks 9 seconds, I believe, to score. Bertuzzi and Bedard play a little bit of give and go, little catch there, and Bedard drove the net hard and tapped it in. Nazar got the other assist as well as Bertuzzi, but credit to Bedard. Like, obviously, we all know he's got probably top two shot in the NHL right now, and he can use that shot from anywhere. But credit to him for driving the net. He was kind of in that bumper position on the power play, which is normally where you'd see Nazar, but they kind of swapped off the faceoff. And yeah, credit to Bedard. He drove the net. He had his stick on the ice, and he was able to put it home. And just showing he can score many different ways, not just with his elite shot, but he can go to the net too, which is really important. And if Team Canada was watching, I hope they took note of that because he can score from anywhere. So that was really good to see. That's his 18th of the year. Hoping he catches McKinnon, but that's wishful thinking. Uh, Bedard nearly scored again on a partial break. He stole the puck from the LA defender. I forget exactly who it was, but he stole the puck at his own blue line. He had a rush and he almost scored on it. It was a partial break. Or I say he almost scored. He had a good shot. But he was dead tired. He was gassed at the end of a shift, so he couldn't fully burn the defender, but he was able to get a partial break and get a shot on net. The third line looked really, really good tonight. Mikheyev, Dickinson, and Teravainen. Not only in the defensive zone where you'd expect them to be well, and it's kind of where Jeff Blashill likes to use them. Obviously, that's kind of the shutdown line. But in the offensive zone, I mean, they didn't score tonight, but I thought they were handling the puck really well in the offensive zone. They were cycling the puck really well, keeping it away from the Kings. They generated a few chances, and they were just kind of eating time in the offensive zone, which is, you know, if that's what your third line defensive shutdown line is doing is killing time in the offensive zone and generating a few chances. I mean, that's great. And that's exactly what they were doing tonight. And they also did their job in the defensive zone, shutting it down. I thought the third line looked great. Um, yeah, so again, the discipline issues kind of were there to stay in the second. They got two more penalties in the second period. Again, killed them both. And I thought the PK looked great. I mean, the PK went 5 for 5. You can't ask for much more. It looked solid tonight. Um, Spencer Knight had two. Spencer Knight looked great tonight, and Spencer Knight is really good at playing the puck. I'll say that. Spencer Knight, when he comes out of the net to play the puck, I'm never worried. He's really good at it. He's so patient and calm with the puck. He'll hold it for a while sometimes and find the right man to pass to. And credit to him, he's really good, and he was good at it tonight. But there was two plays within like I want to say 2 minutes of each other, maybe. They were pretty close together where he just completely bobbled the puck behind the net and turned it over, and it led to two grade A LA scoring chances. I mean, if they scored on both those, it's a 2-2 game, So credit to the defense, Connor Murphy in particular, for kind of killing those plays for LA, but. That's not something you normally see from Spencer Knight, and I don't know if we're ever going to see that twice in the span of a couple minutes from Spencer Knight ever again. But credit to the defense and particularly Connor Murphy for saving two goals. Um, and then right after the second one, in the dying seconds of the second period, you have a rush, Moore and Nazar rushing it up the ice. They find the late man in Kaiser, and Kaiser puts it home for his first of the year. And Kaiser has been so good this year. He's so reliable in the defensive zone. I never feel worried with him on the ice. He can play the penalty kill. I'd be fine with him on the power play because he's such a good skater. He's so good at passing the puck. He's so good at keeping his head up in the offensive zone and finding those smart passes and putting them right on the tape. I mean, Wyatt Kaiser's all-around game is just so good. I mean, he is the perfect two-way defender, and he's still got so much growing to do. And he deserved that first goal. I was really happy to see him get it. You can tell he was happy to score it. He with the celebration there, but yeah, that was just great to see from Wyatt Kaiser. Again, watching him jump up in that play, he read the play perfectly. He knew that time was ticking down. He saw a gap. He found the gap, and the puck found him, and he made no mistake. So again, I thought the Hawks had a really good second period. I mean, they led shots 12-8 in the second period, and they were playing really well. But again, too many penalties. You got to work on the discipline. So I didn't think the refing was too bad tonight. Well, there's one thing we'll get into a bit later on in the third period, but I didn't think the refing was terrible tonight. Uh, as expected, the Kings came out hot in the third period. Not hot because they didn't score early, but they came out aggressive. The D were activating a lot. They were pressuring the Hawks in their own end, and they were creating scoring chances. Credit to them. They looked like a team that was desperate to tie the hockey game or at least get one early in the third. And thanks to Spencer Knight, they didn't. Bedard's line looked good. That top line was driving play, and they were good in their own end. I thought too. Um, Third period goes on. It's pretty back and forth. I thought the Hawks did a good job of playing defense by playing offense. Like I said, LA was really pushing. You can tell they really wanted to get one early, and I thought the Hawks kind of were trying to keep them in their own end as much as they could and trying to capitalize on some of those turnovers because LA was turning the puck over in their own end all night. It wasn't just in the first period. Um, you know, Late in the third, Doc has kind of a questionable hit. Again, I forget who it was on. One of the Kings guys, I want to say Kempe, again, I'm forgetting who it was, kind of came in, challenged Doc. Murphy came in. The whistle never goes. No penalty was called. Hawks get a scoring chance out of it, and it was Donato, and he doesn't score. But yeah, I thought Doc was a really physical presence tonight. I didn't like his play with the puck too much, but I thought he was a good physical presence, and his hit doesn't get called, which yeah, I think that could have got called. I think that could have gone either way. I think if you call that, you're not going to complain. But it didn't get called, so hey, we'll take it. Kings continue to pressure. Rush comes towards the Hawks. It was a 2-on-2 play. Kind of puck goes behind the net. Vlasic kind of lost Fogel there. Fogel has the puck. He's able to center it. Rinzel kind of took the space in front of the net instead of taking the man in Trevor Moore. Trevor Moore comes in and he's got a lot of space in front of the net and he puts it home. So, you'd like to see Vlasic kind of maybe stay glued to Fogle there behind the net, and then you'd like Rinzel to pick up the man on the way back instead of just going to the net and covering, the space in front of the net. I'd like to see him pick up Moore's stick there, and Moore's able to put it home and make it a 2-1 game late and make things interesting. Um, and then Frank Nazar. I haven't talked about Frank Nazar yet. He already has 2 assists at this point in the game. He assisted both Hawks goals. He's looked so good lately. You can tell whatever lingering injury he had is no longer a problem. The only issue this guy has right now is he can't find the back of the net, and he needs a goal more than anybody right now. And he created a 2-on-1, but using his speed, he was so fast tonight, and he used that speed late in the third. He creates a 2-on-1. I believe he was with Bertuzzi. He looks off Bertuzzi and cuts to the net. And credit to him, he had the lane, he had the speed. He cuts to the net, and Mikey Anderson trips him on the way, and the Hawks get a power play really late in the game. I think there was maybe like 4 minutes to go in the game, and the Hawks get a power play, all because of Frank Nazar's speed and his willingness to drive the net. That was a great play. Um, and yeah, Frank Nazar has looked really good. He was slow coming back from injury, and I think the injury lingered. I think he came back maybe a little sooner than he needed to, maybe a bit sooner than he should have. But whatever's bothering him clearly isn't anymore, and he looked really, really good tonight, and he earned those 2 assists, and he was a big reason the Hawks won this game. Um, so yeah, he draws a penalty, and LA pushed shorthanded. LA pushed. They wanted to tie it. They didn't care that they were a man down. They wanted to tie this game. But the Hawks said no. Kings also said no. The penalty kill stood the test. But on that power play, the Hawks are in their own end looking to break out. Nazar gets the puck at the bottom of the faceoff dot, and he starts skating it out, and he was blatantly hooked. Again, I forget who the Kings player was. I need to start paying more attention to who the other guys on the ice are. But Nazar is blatantly hooked, and there's no call. And you think to yourself, okay, they're already on the power play. It doesn't get called, sure. If that's the way they're going to call the game, that's the way they're going to call the game. But what was really frustrating is that after the Kings kill the penalty, Bedard slightly hooks one of their guys and he gets the call. And, that penalty on Bedard on its own isn't necessarily frustrating. I mean, he did hook him. But the fact that, they missed the blatant hook a couple minutes before on Nazar is what makes that very frustrating. And it was nerve-wracking. The Kings go to the power play with 2 minutes to go. Um, the PK has to come up big once again. Uh, you know, Hawks PK was looked good. Teravainen made a diving play near the end of the game to knock the puck out of the zone. He missed on the swat, and their defender got a slap shot off, and it hit Tavo right in the face because he was diving. He goes down. He starts leaking pretty good, pretty fast, and he heads off to the dressing room. So I don't know the update on Teravainen, and I'm sure Blashill will address it here after the game. But obviously, hope Teravainen's okay. It was a huge play. The guys should be buying him dinner for that one. But huge play by Teravainen and the willingness to sacrifice the body there. And, he helped get that win. He was a big part of it tonight, and I hope he's okay. And yeah, Hawks hold on and win this one 2-1. Bedard had comments last game when they played the Kings about how they play a boring brand of hockey to win. And I think the Hawks, returned the favor. And when they took the lead 2-0, they started playing that boring brand of hockey right back at them. Maybe not quite as boring, but, Hawks repay the favor and they get the 2-1 win. Um, One thing I noticed with this game, right as the puck dropped, was there was nobody in this building. The stands were empty. I mean, where were the Kings fans tonight? I don't know if any of the other LA sports teams were playing. I mean, I guess, baseball isn't on, but I don't know what else was happening in LA tonight, but there was no fans in that building, and it seemed like half the fans that were there were wearing red. Um, so yeah, I don't know where the Kings fans were tonight. They're not a bad team. I don't know why the fans weren't there. I mean, they are in LA. They got a lot to compete with. So again, I don't know what was happening tonight in LA, but hardly anybody showed up to that game. There was no energy in the building, and not only because the Hawks were up 2-0, but I think even if the Kings were up 2-0, there wasn't much energy in that building. Penalty kill was solid tonight, 5 for 5. That's all you can ask for out of your penalty kill. They were lights out, and the power play was great. 33% tonight, 1 for 3. It only took them 9 seconds on that power play to score, and I thought it looked great. Power play really struggled last game, went 0 for 5. Bounced back well tonight, going 1 for 3, and that's exactly what you want. The few fans that were in the building, I noticed, they booed them off the ice in the second intermission, after the two grade A chances on the night turnovers and then Kaiser scoring with 5.5 seconds left. Um, yeah, they booed their own team off the ice, Vancouver style. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. It kind of made me chuckle. Um, yeah, overall, I mean, the Hawks played a great game. I mean, not many notes. Like everyone had a good game. I can't think of anybody that didn't. I mean, Oliver Moore is really cementing himself as a top six forward in this league. Him and Nazar together are so fast. You combine that speed with Tyler Bertuzzi, and you've got a really good line, who's defensively responsible and is not afraid to get into the corners and battle for pucks. I mean, Tyler Bertuzzi is a hound in front of the net. Frank Nazar is a hound in the corners, winning puck battles, and Oliver Moore is the same way. I mean, you don't necessarily think at first that that's Oliver Moore's game, but he is so willing to go battle in the corners and win pucks, and he does it. And that line created quite a lot of offensive chances tonight. And I love that second line. And Oliver Moore is really showing that he deserves to be up here and he deserves to be in a top six role. And I'm really loving him up there. And, we just keep getting closer and closer to the issue of the Hawks are going to have too many forwards here. Like when Frondell gets here, who are they bumping out of the top six? I don't know. So that's going to be an interesting problem for, March or April. Yeah, I thought everyone looked good tonight. Vlasic especially. Bedard, like always, looked great. I love that goal from Bedard. Wyatt Kaiser looked great. The Murphy Grizzly pairing I thought was good tonight. Sam Renzel was, it wasn't his best game. He was solid though. I mean, I didn't really notice him, but that's okay. Uh, Levshinov had a pretty average game. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It was, you know, no complaints about it really. Yeah, I thought the guys looked great tonight, and I'm really excited for the next game against LA. And I'll be back for a post game after that. So that's all for me. Leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the game. Follow me over on Twitter. There's a lot of good conversation always going on over there about the Blackhawks. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next post game.